The injured girl lies in hospital, one of her legs missing, her family overcome with grief. The human cost of Turkey's military incursion into northeastern Syria. Turkish airstrikes and artillery are targeting the defences of the Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces. On some fronts, Turkish soldiers and their local allies, the opposition Syrian National Army, pushed a few kilometres south, capturing a number of villages. Despite being outgunned and outmanned by the second largest army in NATO, the Kurdish-led SDF forces are resisting. There are civilian casualties on the Turkish side of the border too. The government says a number of people, including this 9-month-old baby, were killed by SDF artillery. The Turkish military says the first phase of its air and ground operation is a 100-kilometre strip of territory between the Syrian border town of Tel Abyad and Ras Al Ain to the east. It is the same area the US military withdrew from earlier this week. International aid agencies are warning of an impending humanitarian disaster. They also warn of mass displacement of people. Turkish commanders say civilians and civilian infrastructure are not the targets of the campaign. Thousands of Syrians are already on the move, but the safe zone Turkey says it wants to create extends 480 kilometres along the border and 30 kilometres deep. Turkey says the operation is about ending a security threat. It considers the Syrian Kurdish armed group, the YPG, which forms the backbone of the SDF, a terrorist organisation. The Turks also want millions of refugees it is looking after to move to the safe zone.
For years, Syrians fled from Raqqa, Deir Zur and other areas. They fled from ISIL and the YPG. Turkey's province of Sanliurfa is home to 400,000 Syrians, and 125,000 of them live here, in this Turkish border town. They need to be able to go home.
The West and Arab countries have been deeply critical of Turkey's military campaign, but President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has hit back.
We have
3.6 million Syrian refugees in our country waiting to go back to their homes. The European Union, look at yourself. I repeat, at the moment you cannot call or define our operation as an invasion. Our job is easy. We could just open the doors and 2.6 million refugees, we will send them back to you. Saudi Arabia should look in the mirror. They put Yemen in this situation and look what's happening there. Tens of thousands of people are dying in Yemen. Saudi Arabia, you should talk about this first. You cannot criticize our operation. Also Egypt, you cannot talk at all. You are the murderer of democracy in your country.
The United Nations Refugee Agency and aid agencies operating inside Syria say thousands of people are fleeing the fighting as Turkey's military campaign continues. They are calling for international pressure on Ankara and restraint from all sides involved. The Turkish government says it will continue its campaign until its objectives are achieved. Charles Stratford, Al Jazeera, near the Turkish-Syrian border.